Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Your kitchen without regrets. Hi, this is Anita Joyce here with Kelly Wilkness, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks, episode 472. Don't make these mistakes, kitchen edition. Kitchen mistakes. I know I have made so many, and I'm guessing you probably have too, Kelly.
I'm not really sure.
Okay, then I should just take over this episode. It sounds like you have nothing to contribute.
I don't want to say I'm above it, but I have to say
These are the things you were smart enough not to do. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I know I'm not perfect, and my family probably knows I'm not perfect, but I do think I spend a lot of time thinking about when I'm going to do something, particularly a renovation in the kitchen. And yeah, maybe a few little things. Maybe you're going to come up with some things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I did that. But I must say, making the mistakes or not making the mistakes, you need the knowledge of what those mistakes could possibly be, or what the issues are that could lead you down the road of a mistake and something you might ultimately regret. And that's what we're going to serve up to you today. So whether your kitchen is staying as it is, you're renovating, you're buying or selling, you are going to benefit from today's tips. There's something for everyone, even somebody who thinks they're kitchen perfect like I do, in this episode. So whatever state of kitchenness you are in, you're going to enjoy this episode and you're going to walk away with some great information.
Some of these tips are things about your decor, and some of them are about the design of the kitchen. So some of these are pretty easy to change, and some of them, not so much.
Well, that's the thing about the kitchen. Sure, a little piece of decor, something like that, easy to switch up. But so many decisions that have to be made and choices that have to be made in the kitchen are very hard and costly to fix. So that's what we want to get ahead of that for you and give you all this info so you don't have to spend the extra money, and then you don't have to lose sleep over things that you decided in the kitchen that you wish you hadn't.
Which brings up a conversation I just had with a friend of mine about a week ago. And she was saying that she needed a new refrigerator, but she wasn't going to be able to do it anytime soon. And I asked, why not? And she said, because I chose black stainless steel. And she said that she cannot find any store that has any available in black stainless steel. So here is our decorating mistake number one. Don't choose black stainless steel for your appliances. Don't choose anything too exotic, because it may just get discontinued at some point because nobody put it in, and then you're going to have a hard time finding it.
Yes. Do you remember, gosh, it might have, obviously it was probably some kitchen episode, and I think we talked about this, or maybe it was a trend episode. It was, with 400.
When they said, someone declared stainless steel was out. I remember that. And we both rolled our eyes and said, no, not that one?
No. One second. With 700, oh my gosh, when there's 700 episodes, I don't know what we'll do. With 472 episodes, it's hard to remember which is which, but do you remember it was either trend or a kitchen one, and we talked about the black stainless because it was either coming on trend and blah, 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 and we got a very nice email, and we were like, don't think you should do it for exactly the reason you're saying now. And we got a lovely email. And again, I can't remember because we get so many lovely emails exactly who it was, but I remember the exchange. And this woman said, I have them. I love them. They look great. And they probably did. And for her, God, I hope she never has to replace any of them. Hopefully they still look great. But we gave that advice way back when, and now somebody is living it, and they're living to regret it.
Right. Now, I would say my only caveat with this is if we're talking about a range. If you want one of those fancy French ranges that come in the blues or different colors, I say go for it. Don't worry about it, because you know what? You're not going to be matching it with your other appliances. But for everything,
Yes.
that's a different animal. But for everything else, I'd say just go stainless steel and just be done with it.
Right. And yes, because that kind of range is a standalone like piece of art. And also either stainless or fully integrated. Then for the pieces that you could do that with,
exactly.
like the fridge or the dishwasher and things like that, because then, it's just seamless.
Disappears, right. Then you just have the wood paneling in front of it. So exactly.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that was a good one to kick off with. I'm kicking off with the flow. Think long and hard about where you're going to place these fabulous appliances, because it's going to, in your mind or on a piece of paper, whether it's with a kitchen designer or a contractor, or you're making it up as you go along, it might seem fine on a piece of paper, but when you're actually in the room and you're moving around and you're trying to get something out of the refrigerator and looking for a place to put it, and you can't reach over to the stove, if you don't have the flow and you don't adhere somewhat to that triangle. So we're talking about the triangle between the essentials, the range, the refrigerator, and probably the sink. Maybe the microwave might figure in there somewhere for some people. So you might have like a weird extra little thing on your triangle. But mostly we're talking about those three pieces, and those are the points of the triangle. And you want to be able to get to all of those quite easily. Now, I am going to, and probably Anita is going to talk about islands and things like that as we get further into the episode. But with the flow, you really have to consider the placement and the size of the island. Because if you have to hurdle an island to get a carton of milk out, your flow is bad. No matter how big and beautiful your island might be, and you might be like, oh, I always wanted a giant island. It might be an obstacle rather than an asset.
That is a very good point. And it may be a half an inch on your sheet of paper, but that half an inch might be like, feel like miles away when you're actually walking around. So yes, you do need to be talking about that flow. And then when you're also designing this kitchen, and I'm kind of in the middle of doing some design work for our farm, I'm planning a complete redo and complete, rip out of everything. So we're moving everything around. You really need to make sure that you've got those pathways down and that you have, 3 to 4 feet between your cabinetry and your island. So you're going to want to make sure all of this is going to work together. And yes, that work island also kind of works out, because I am going to have some cabinetry at the far end of the room. And as much as I wanted to put something over there, I knew it was going to be too far from the sink, to do the stove over there, and too far from the refrigerator. So I'm definitely keeping all those working elements on the one side. So I think that is something to keep in mind, is that work triangle, because that's what you're going to be doing over and over again every day. But for not having enough counter space at the farm for so long, I just had this tiny little space, and it's very hard to work there. Let me tell you, I'm going to be so thrilled to have an island there at some point, and I will actually be, because I cook a lot, and by the time I get all my supplies out to cook, there's no place to chop anything. So anyway, so I think I'm not anti-island, but I'm just saying make sure it works in with your design. But okay, so here's something that I think we can all agree is something you should not have in your kitchen, and that is fluorescent lighting.
Don't have fluorescent lighting. Yes, that's a definite. Did we have to say that? But yes,
well, I'm saying it. I'm not going to go on about it because I think it's just self-explanatory.
Right. Yes. But and lighting, you should have 3 sources of lighting. Covered this before for the DTT loyal listeners. We're going to have some overhead, we're going to have some task lighting, and some accent lighting. So make that work, make it happen in your space, add a little lamp, do some under counter lighting. That is just a beautiful way to add some task lighting and also some decorative lighting, because you're going to have them all on dimmers and it's going to look beautiful. And then you don't have to worry about just having this fluorescent overhead lighting. I have some other things on lighting, but I wanted to kind of go back to this island idea. So just don't knee jerk into any decisions, anywhere in your house, just because sort of sees everybody's doing that, right? Oh, everybody's doing a pedestal tub. I never take a bath and I have 2 other tubs. Do you need a pedestal step? No, but I digress. Now I went to the bathroom. Let me come back into the kitchen.
Do you want to reel you back in?
I got confused. Do I need an island? Must I have an island? Will anyone ever buy my house if I ever want to sell it if I don't have an island? Yes, they will.
Well,
they will.
But also keep in mind what my situation. I don't have enough room. I mean, so that's really one of the easiest way to add space, counter space, is to add an island. But I agree, some people really don't like the islands. So it's not for everyone.
Yes, and I am not anti-island. I am just saying, analyze your space. Think about the way you use it. If you've got a ton of counter space, then maybe you don't need an island. And if the island was going to break up this very crucial triangle that we were talking about, and you already have enough counter space, then maybe you just don't put the island in there just sort of because everybody seems to be doing it. Another thing with the island and your counter height. Now, this can be debatable. I'm just throwing it out there. But if you're super tiny or you're super tall, maybe think about having the counters, or at least one area in the counter, at a different height. A height that would be suitable for you. Now, someone might say, oh, on resale, then it limits me. I can only sell my house to people that are giants or midgets, and I don't want to do that. I want to have the standard counter height. But, if you're going to live in your house for any period of time, if you're super tall or you're super short and you like to bake or use rolling pins like Anita loves to do, something like that, if you're reaching up or having to bend all the way over, that's not comfortable. So you could even do something where part of the counter drops down and you have like a baking station. I did that in my other house. I'm probably on the smaller side, but kind of like not that far from average height. But my girls were little girls. They were tiny and they loved to bake with me and do things like cook. So we did a whole area where it dropped down for them. So they didn't have to be on step stools and all that kind of stuff. So I can say, guess what? In that tip is, don't just do what is standard. Really think, and that can be counter height. That can be whether you do an island or not. It can be a lot of different things. Think about who's using the space and how that space is going to best serve you. And we do so much work cooking, homework, regular work, socializing, all these things in the kitchen, that room in particular has to really serve you and your family.
Right. Okay. This used to be in style just a few years ago, and that is distressed cabinets. And those are really out now. So I'm so glad I never did that. But I knew some people that did it. It was beautiful at the time. And now it's out, which kind of goes back to what we say all the time, is to stick with the classics, especially in something like this. It's so expensive to change out because this is something, unless you're really good at painting, if you're hiring someone to repaint your cabinets, that's an expensive thing to pay for. So I'd definitely be thinking about your cabinets and how you're going to paint them. And while we're talking about the distressed cabinets, I'm going to throw in there stained cabinets. When I say stained, I mean a wood stain versus paint. If you have stained cabinets and you like them, great. I'm not complaining about that look. But I will say, for a new build, if you're picking out cabinetry, if you're building new, I would go with painted cabinetry, because that is the standard right now, and that is what people are looking for. So if you're concerned about resale, I think you're going to want those cabinets painted. And if you have stained and you don't like them, don't worry, they can be painted.
Yes, they can be painted. Okay, you're going to say, just get off the island, Kelly.
Oh my gosh, are we still on the island? Okay.
Well, we're just sort of, it's about the island. Let me just finish it out.
Oh my goodness.
Because we talked about lighting and we talked about the island. Now I'm combining these two thoughts. I say don't have lighting over your island where when you look up, you're seeing the exposed bulbs.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
I just don't
Fair
like
enough.
that. But there's a lot of, I'm helping someone right now do lighting and hardware, cabinetry hardware for their kitchen. And I'm looking at gazillions of light fixtures that could work in her kitchen. And there are a lot of them where the shade or what have you is pointing down. And so then when you looked up, all you'd see is a bulb. And sure, you could do the Edison bulb and stuff, but maybe you're not getting enough light from that. So I would do something that's enclosed, or candelabra type bulbs that are kind of, up. So think about that. You might not want to be sitting at the counter and look up, or working at the island and look up and see the bottom of a bulb, or the top of a bulb, I guess it would be.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, think about how you're going to be using the space. It's not just about how guests come in and interact with it, but what you're going to be looking at. So, yeah, I mean, like that's like looking up at the vent hood from underneath. You don't want to be looking up and seeing any of that.
No. And there's so many beautiful lights where you can get an enclosed shade and you'd still be getting a ton of light. So,
Yes. So, too much open shelving. I'm going to throw that one out there. I'm not I like open shelving, but here's the thing. When you have open shelving, that means that anything you put out there has to be attractive. It doesn't have to be, but it's going to be better if it is attractive looking. And it's a lot of the stuff that we use to in our kitchens is not really attractive. So it kind of limits what you can set out there. And so sometimes it just ends up being decorative and not what people end up using. So then it's not really useful storage space. So just be mindful of that. And then sometimes people have a small kitchen and they think, well, I'm going to put this open shelving up and then I'll really have more space. And then they jam it full of stuff so that they have more storage, but then it ends up looking junky and cluttered. So I think if you have open shelving, I wouldn't put too much of it up. And then when you do, I would keep it uncluttered with just a few simple things up there.
hey, we'll be right back with the rest of the show, but keep listening so we can continue bringing you DTT. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. You know, we're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. On to something new for me. Don't get distracted by all the bells and whistles that you don't really necessarily want or need, like the extra prep sink. You know, again, you see it, it looks great. You're like, oh, that's exciting. I want an extra prep sink. But what if you don't cook that way? Or, you know, what if you're not entertaining and people aren't making, you know, martinis and cosmopolitans over there? Do you really need it? It's very costly because you're talking about a lot of more plumbing lines and faucets are not cheap. And maybe you're having Instahot or something over there. So I would think that through. And similar thing with the pot filler.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah.
pot filler really does feel like something you really don't need. But I'm going to say my little extra veg sink is a lifesaver for us. Sometimes there's two people in this kitchen. So the big sink is for washing dishes, and then I just use that for washing vegetables. And like you said, I have kind of a nice size island in there, and so my refrigerator is a long way from the sink. So this is nice for me to use that, but also it's kind of gets people spread out if I've got more than one person in the kitchen helping me. But for a smaller kitchen, I think it really probably is a waste of space. But for a larger kitchen, I think it's a good idea. I mean, just depends, but it could be.
Well, it's perfect for the type of cook you are, the fact that your family likes to get involved with cooking. And as you say, yes, because you have the island, and then that gets you closer with your triangle between your refrigerator, your prep sink, and then your range. So for you, it's perfect. And it may be perfect for someone who's listening, but maybe not for everybody. So it's just something that you're like, I have to really think that through. And the pot filler, like, unless you're making pasta for
every day,
a small army or like Mama Leone or something, like, do you really need that? Or, maybe you just love the look of it, and that's okay too. But, they are not inexpensive.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I just don't think I would use a pot filler that often, but that sink is used. I use that all the time. So it's just something, and our point is not that you should put these things in, but just think about how you use your kitchen and how much you would actually use it, and kind of a cost use analysis.
Exactly.
Is it going to be worth the expense to put this sort of thing in? I think that's an excellent
Because the
point.
tips aren't don't get a prep sink. The tip isn't don't get a pot filler. It's don't just knee jerk it and get it because you see it on Pinterest. You really think about how you use the kitchen. And for Anita and the way our family uses the kitchen, her prep sink is perfect. Hey, and don't forget your recycling. Keep that in your plan, because even if your community right now isn't making you separate things and whatnot, a lot of places are already. If you're not, you're probably going to be in the near future. So think about when you do the pullout, whether it's going to be one trash can, two trash cans, whether you're going to have something else for maybe composting. So recycling should be or is part of everyone's life right now. So you have to plan your kitchen for it, because you don't want to make a gorgeous kitchen and then have this freestanding trash can.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's so nice. We have that. Ours are in the cabinet, so there's a drawer there. It is so nice not to have to look at the trash can in the kitchen. So I highly recommend that. That is so worth it.
Are we going to do a high five pet peeve on trash can in the kitchen?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think we are. Virtual high five here.
Ooh, there we go.
Hey, that hurt.
How did we do?
Okay, so back to the countertop, and this is kind of something that I think makes life much more difficult, and that is to have a tiled countertop. You don't see them much anymore.
God, it's so awful. It's so
well,
awful.
I know, but it's so hard to clean.
It's a maintenance nightmare.
It's a maintenance nightmare. You get gunk in there, and it just ends up looking bad, and it's hard to clean. I just can't say enough bad about it. I mean, you do not want a tile countertop.
And we're so sorry if you have one. And if you have one and you can't get rid of it, you bought a house with one, there's grout cleaner, there's grout sealer, there's help out there.
Well, and then there's some options where I think you could have maybe a concrete countertop built on top of it. I've heard of that. Some options that are a little less expensive than you might think.
Okay. Hey, here's a DTT one that we just could not leave out. Don't design around stuff you don't need or use. So you know what that means. Purge it before you redesign, redecorate, renovate, build your kitchen. Get rid of all the extra stuff you don't use. You're not going to make crepes. So get rid of the crepe maker.
I just made some 2 weeks ago. Excuse me.
You're not going to make crepes unless you're Anita Joyce. Or someone just like her, her soulmate.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. How about this one? This one, to me, this is up there with the tile, almost as bad as the tiled countertop. And that is one of those short backsplashes that don't go all the way up to the upper cabinets.
Oh, you might as well just wear floods around town.
Well, I mean, look, come on. I mean, if you're cooking, it gets messy sometimes.
Yeah.
And do you really want stuff splashed all over the wall? But I don't think most homeowners choose that. but sometimes you end up in a house and that's what's in there. So I'm not blaming anybody for that, but I'm just saying if you've got that and you can change that out, I think you'll be really happy to get that changed out.
There's no blame going around.
No,
you're blameless. Oh my gosh, so many great don'ts. Do you have any more, Anita?
I can go on and on, but I can just. Do you want me just to have one more?
I don't know. I mean, we could have a part 2 over the kitchen. Go ahead, give me one more.
Okay. Oh boy, which one do I choose?
I've got one more too. So
okay. Okay. Let's say, don't go with a fussy cabinet style. Go with something simple and sleek if you're selecting cabinetry, because it's hard to clean those that are fussy, and a lot of people, again, resale, people don't want the fussy designs, and I think they end up looking dated much quicker.
Yeah, shake, rattle, and roll. Shaker it.
Yep.
I wish I had done pure shaker. I had to go with just a little extra profile, and I think I've shared with you guys, maybe every 6 months I go in there with a Q-tip. Hello? So I'm a crazy person. But I
would just have to move.
in there.
I would just have to move. That would be it.
So, but if I just had the shaker, it would just be on a 90-degree angle, and I could just wipe my cabinets down to my heart's content, and I wouldn't have to get so detailed. So yes, and all the corables and things that people were doing for a while, yeah, that's kind of dated now. So again, classic, simple, beautiful, everlasting.
Oh, that sounds very good. Very good.
BritBox just keeps getting better. The new Archie is amazing. And it's not the comics. It's about Cary Grant. Archie is the brand new limited series starring Jason Isaacs as Archie Leach, the man who became Cary Grant. From the award-winning screenwriter of Philomena, Archie tells Grant's born in Britain, made in Hollywood story, the dramatic grit to glamour transformation that led him to become one of the most famous people in the world. You are going to absolutely love the acting, but also the styling, the outfits, the scenery. It's the first time his story has been told in collaboration with his daughter Jennifer Grant and ex-wife Diane Cannon. The performances from Jason Isaacs and the rest of the cast are amazing, and it's only available on BritBox. So sign up for BritBox today to stream Archie and other fan favorites from any device. And we have a special limited time offer for our U.S. and Canadian listeners. Get 50% off, yes, that's 50% off your first month when you sign up for a monthly plan. But only if you go to BritBox.com and use our promotion code DTT at checkout. You're going to love Archie. So head over right now and get 50% off your first month of BritBox. Use the promotion code DTT at BritBox.com. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Okay, what's your crush today?
Okay. All right. I know my last crush you were rolling your eyes at. I couldn't see you, but I knew you were doing it on the toothbrush.
I'm excited about that toothbrush. I think I'm going to try it.
All right. I have something perhaps even more dull sounding. If that's possible, I found something.
Duller than a new toothbrush?
A dish drainer.
Okay, you beat your record.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I was going for.
But the people love it. They love your your ideas. I mean, we still can't believe how many of those glass food containers were
the
sold.
Deluxe.
People love those. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a KitchenAid one, and a listener was recommending this particular one, and I'm sorry I don't have the email, but if that was you, I took that in mind because I was looking at several, and this one is a KitchenAid, and it's stainless steel, so it kind of looks like it goes with your stainless steel appliances. The thing I like about it is that it is not kind of that boring old look, and it has kind of a solid stainless steel look on the front, so you're not seeing that wire on the front. It's a large size, so a lot of stuff is going to fit in it. And then it has lots of compartments for your utensils and, maybe some knives and big cooking spoons and things. So you have a lot of room for those utensils on the side. There's places to put glasses. And, it's big for pots and pans. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up, and I will include the link.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could find that email because that was a great tip. So yes, that was a listener tip. Thank you so much. And we'll keep looking. Maybe we're going to find it. But if you know it was you, email us again and let us know so we can give you credit on air. We would love that. My crush today is a movie. And I have to say, I think there's a lot of bad movies out there these days. Maybe it was hard to make movies this past year and whatnot. But Minari, M-I-N-A-R-I, is wonderful. It has been nominated for 6 Oscars, but Oscar or not, this is a fabulous movie. It's a Korean family that moves to this farm or farmland in Arkansas in the 1980s, and they're really sort of just in search of their American dream. It's a beautifully filmed movie. There's comedy and drama and just his family relationships. The son, he's 8, David, you just want to squeeze his little face and kiss him. And then when the Korean grandma comes from Korea to live with them, there's just some hilarious moments. So it's the resilience of this family. And I think the message is, what really makes a home. Because when the wife first gets there, she's like, no way, dude, we are not living here. But it is a wonderful movie. Minari, I'll put the link to the trailer in the show notes so you can have a peek. And I think it's going to hook you in and you're going to want to watch it.
I'm going to have to check that one out.
Yeah, I think you'd really like it. So, IG feature?
Today I'm featuring Bunny Williams' home. And you know Bunny Williams.
Of course, me and Bunny.
Yes, you know her, darling.
Yeah.
A very talented American designer. And she has a line of wonderful furniture, which she does feature in the feed. So, you're going to see her furniture in the feed, but also it's just a beautiful feed. It's just beautiful homes. And I think you're going to enjoy it. I think there's a lot of ideas in there that you can probably use in your home. So I think that's a great one for today.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And I had been a follower, but when you said you were going to talk about that one as a feature today, I went and scrolled through and look at her kitchen garden, everyone. It is stunning. It's, I guess a few whisks, a few scrolls down on your phone and you'll find it. Oh, it's just stunning. So there's a lot of garden. There's a lot of design. There's a lot of houses. You could take a look at the little square and sort of pull it apart in your mind. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. And then she's known for this outdoor entertaining. Did you see the table on the veranda?
Oh, yeah. It's really good.
Beautiful.
Oh, their home is stunning. So, yeah. I think you'll love it. And her books are great, too. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. We are here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Want to talk to us? Well, we really want to talk to you. So let's schedule a design consult. Anita and I are here to give you individualized, actionable advice on how to create the beautiful home you want and deserve. It's so easy to schedule a design consult with us. Simply click the link in the show notes or head to decoratingtipsandtricks.com/consult. When we talk to you on the scheduled time, we will be ready with so many great tips, advice, and yes, tricks. So sign up today for a design consult. We can't wait to talk to you.